Are you looking for a new whiskey adventure? Then climb in and buckle up. Get ready for one hell of a ride on the Whiskey Trip podcast with your host, Big Chief. Join in as he and his guests explore whiskey and dive into whiskey stories from around the world. Now here's your host, Big Chief.
Folks, you know, here on the Whiskey Trip, we celebrate more than just the pour in our glass. We celebrate heritage, tradition, and the stories that make this country what it is. That's why I'm proud to tell you about our friends at the Heritage Flag Company. These aren't just flags, they're handcrafted works of art built from whiskey and bourbon barrels that once held the spirit we all love. Every cut, every nail, every burn mark tells a story of patience and craftsmanship. Just like the whiskey we sip, these flags are bold, timeless, and full of character. Whether you hang one in your home bar, your man cave, or gift it to a veteran or first responder, a heritage flag isn't just decor. It's a statement. It says you believe in freedom, tradition, and the legacy we pass down. So saddle up, whiskey family, and head over to theheritageflag.com. Use code WhiskeyTrip10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Let them know Big Chief sent you. Because just like your favorite pour, the Heritage Flag Company is made to be shared, honored, and remembered. Now let's get on to the show. Hey, it's old Big Chief, and yeah, you're taking another ride on a whiskey trip, baby. And I got an event I got to talk about. And, you know, when I got something to talk about, it's going to take me over an hour. So I got the Texas Whiskey Fest. It's April 18th in Bee Cave, Texas at Star Hill Ranch. Now, this is like the wild, wild west of whiskey right here. All these Texas brands get together and they throw one hell of a party. And every posse has to have a leader. And I got their leader this time on with me, Jake Clements, my old buddy from the hill country there. Jake, welcome to the Whiskey Trip, my friend.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to the ride.
Yeah. You can tell me what I'm rocking right there, Texaholic. And some people are like, man, I don't know about that hat. Well, that's because I'm addicted to everything Texas. And what are we going to be drinking? Texas whiskey. So why not?
Damn good whiskey.
So, Jake, you tell new listeners that haven't seen your show with me before, listen to that show. Tell them about your background and how did you get into this whiskey thing? And before we do that, I got my glass right here filled up with some whiskey, and this little joker right here, it's almost gone. It's this 10-year-old Jimmy's bourbon right here, and if you know, you know. I've said this is the best whiskey in Texas right here, hands down. I know, Jake, but I got a lot of people that say the same thing. Old Emiliano said it was good.
No, it is great. And we'll talk about that. I'll go through what my thoughts on saying what the best is. But so I am actually, if you're drinking that, I am drinking an 100% oated whiskey from Wilson Valley Mercantile, and this is a farmer that grows his own grains. It's seed to sip. If he doesn't grow it, it doesn't go in.
Old Big John out there, he's doing it right.
Oh yeah. No, my only reason I was snickering is, so the festival does a competition, and I'll go in every year, and I recently just went like, okay, all of these competitions out there, San Francisco, New Orleans, whatever it is, they're like, well, this is the best. I'm like, no, these things aren't really telling you what the best is. What they're really doing is telling you these are the bottles you must try this year. These are the bottles to look out for this year. This is kind of a snapshot of where the industry is, right? I feel
that's true. That's true.
I feel that's a much better depiction of what competitions are than saying this is the best, because we all know that's so subjective. But if you have a panel of judges that award all of these things gold and all of that, well, these are definitely bottles you should look out for and try.
Oh, most definitely. That's what my whiskey of the year is every year is the best whiskey that I've had that year, and things that people should go out there and seek out and say, man, if Chief drank it this year and thought it was good, maybe I should give it a chance. Especially these craft distilleries that need our help right now. But go ahead and tell us, how did you get into this whiskey thing, Jake?
Pure luck. And determination. No, I had this idea. I liked whiskey. I wanted to, or the question got posed, and I had a discussion around, could we do an event purely around Texas whiskey? I wasn't in the industry. The only thing I really knew about whiskey was that I liked it. And I really kind of just started cold calling these distilleries and trying to get them on board. And during this process, I quickly learned that people within the state didn't even know that Texas made whiskey, and that they needed a platform to showcase that what Texas was doing, that they were making whiskey, and that it was good. And so we went from this, I have this idea for an event, to, yeah, I want to do this event, but how do we build it into something larger? And that was kind of the genesis of where this all got started. And that first year, we had 11 distilleries. Second year, we had 22. I learned a little bit later that the reason we didn't have a few more on the first year is they thought I was a little crazy. I was like, well, probably so in a way, but we all have to be a little bit, right? But no, over the years, I mean, this will be our 9th one. I've developed amazing friendships, learned so much more about whiskey than I ever thought I would know. And I still don't know everything, right? I mean, that's the joy about this. There's always something to learn, especially in Texas with craft in general. You find craft distilleries or states that are pushing the boundaries and trying new whiskeys. I mean, 100% oat whiskey. I mean, the mouthfeel, the creaminess, like I'm learning a whole new set of taste buds and with this whiskey. And so I think that's an exciting part, and that's kind of, I guess, what keeps me doing it, I guess.
Well, that's kind of how we all are kind of stumble, unless you go into a profession, but sometimes you just stumble onto something you love, right? And whiskey is something we both love. We both kind of stumbled up on it. Me inside a bar talking about whiskey, and somebody's like, hey, you got a big old sexy voice. And I was like, well, thank you. But I got a wife. I appreciate you think I talk like John Wayne, but I do love whiskey, and it's a passion, and I'm glad that you've brought all these Texas distilleries together. And, I can't think of many people that understand Texas whiskey as good as you. You really, you don't pick and choose which ones are the best. You go after all Texas distilleries and say, hey, come to the party. Join this fray of Texas outlaws that are making whiskey, and come be part of something that's great and amazing, and showcase it to the world. You're going through a list of people that are coming from around America, and you've touched all corners of America, from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest. You got people from all over. There's not just Texans that want to know about Texas whiskey, right?
That's 100% right. I mean, looking at the kind of the locations where people are coming from and tickets are bought this year, a lot of California, Nevada, New York, Georgia, South Dakota. I mean, it's just, it seems to be an ever growing, expanded geography. And I mean, year one was probably mostly local people. Year two, we saw more people come in. I know I have a group of about 10 people that come in from Florida every year. They have been since, I think, year 2 or 3. And they're a great group of people, and they keep bringing more people with them. Every time they come, they attach somebody else to their trip. And it's really great to see that expansion of people coming in and wanting to take a look at what Texas is doing. And I think there's good reason for that. I mean, outside of Kentucky and Tennessee, Texas really is kind of this mecca of whiskey. It's the whiskey that people are talking about from a regionality perspective. And people are starting to take notice, and they want to be here for it.
I mean, I do think you're correct on that. You got Texas is just behind Tennessee right now in distilling. Now Tennessee has that one mega distillery there, Jack Daniels, that sells more whiskey than anybody in the United States. But Texas is coming on, and they're making beautiful whiskeys, making brands and expressions like that 100% oat. Not a whole lot of folks out there, that are making that. I can name a couple, but that have tried it and maybe even failed at it. But still, you got to try it to see what the terroir there is right there at Wilson Valley Mercantile and John and his farm, and where it's coming from there. The man is I know the day I went out there, he was pulling up in a semi from harvesting, and I love to see that. I love to see the work and the effort that goes into a place like that, and then the music that he has out there. Providing that for the hill country, and that was kind of getting back to the roots of old dance halls back in the 20s and 30s and stuff. Places like Green Hall that we visited as a kid, right? Pretty Texas that had its dance halls and liquor barns that I used to go to. It's a great thing to see. Now the whiskey festival, you're going to have not just whiskey out there. You got food too, right?
Oh, absolutely. So if you buy a VIP ticket, you have food catered from Verde's, which is down the road from the venue. Chef Cody makes amazing food, and that'll go until we run out. But outside of that, we have 3 other food trucks. We've got empanadas from Yapa Empanadas, and my God, fantastic. We have Craigos Pizza doing pizza by the slice. We have Up and Smoke Barbecue. So you can get a little bit of anything you want there.
I think it's wonderful. I remember the food trucks the year we got to go was pretty amazing. Now, this is your 9th year. Not a lot of festivals make it to the 9th year. And next year, man, we got to throw some kind of big party because it's going to be your 10th anniversary.
There's plans in the works. Literally, I had like 4 or 5 phone calls today about year 10. I know I got to get through year 9, but there's already things in works for year 10. That in whiskey, it just takes a long time to do things, so I couldn't wait until after we got past this to do it.
It's amazing. And then I look at some of your sponsors that you got on board. You got Total Wine on board, Omega and Whiskey around America sponsoring this, and that's showing that somebody that's taken notice.
What I love about having them as a sponsor is there's one not too far from my house, the one I shop at, and they love Texas whiskey. Their staff is so excited whenever they get to go to a distillery and pick a barrel for their store. It's talking with their staff. It's like one of their favorite activities. And so when I asked them if they would come on board, they were like, yeah, we would love to. So they've been out there a couple of years, and they've had swag and things like that. What we're really working on, and we're trying, I don't know if it's going to pull off, we're going to be able to do it yet, but they're going to come out with kiosks, is the idea. And so you'll be able to try whiskey and then go to Total Wine, shop the kiosk, select the store you want to pick it up from. State law, we can't sell it to you there. But if you can select your store, so if you're coming in from, Dallas, San Antonio, or whatever, you can select the store, buy it right there, and then and it'll be ready for pickup on Monday. That's our goal. It's what we're going for. Whether it happens this year, fingers crossed. But so I think that them pushing Texas whiskey and them willing to show up so we can facilitate sales of Texas whiskey, I think that speaks volumes for that organization and them trying to work with local.
I love it that you've got something innovative. You're trying something outside the box. You providing, Texans or your attendees a way to buy a whiskey that they've tried, and I think that's a good thing. It also gives these craft distilleries a avenue to sell more whiskey or get their product out there to people that love it and stuff. We were talking about online sales a little bit before we started, and I think that's the next big thing. And I think that's how craft distilleries are staying afoot, is they have people that come in and try their stuff, and they're like, how do I get this? And it's either come back and get it or more than likely buy online, because to launch in every state is difficult for these craft distilleries.
Well, the volume that they have to be producing in order to be in all 50 states, right? Some of these craft distillers, they're not producing enough volume. If you look at John at Wilson Valley, he's a great example. He calls himself a micro distillery. He doesn't have the capacity to put out enough whiskey to be in all 50 states. That's just not an option for him. And I do think a lot of the distillers that have online sales options this year will have a little QR code or something at their table so you could scan it and take you directly to the shop page. At least that's the goal. It's what everybody should be doing. Again, back to the ones that don't have it. John at Wilson Valley, you're going to have to go to Wilson Valley to buy his product. That's just the way it is. But as Mike pointed out a little earlier, you know, it is this kind of old school dance hall type vibe, and the music is great. I mean, all of the tables with that old school kind of like formica top with the aluminum on the sides reminds me of my grandmother's kitchen table growing up, right?
Oh yeah.
I love that vibe. He's got a cigar lounge in there. It's one of the few places you can go and buy bourbon and beef. You can walk away with a bottle of bourbon and a box of beef. It's fantastic. Do you get more Texas than that, really?
If you could buy a gun and bullets in there,
Okay, all right.
you could
You're
lay it
baiting
all
ammo,
out
right?
there.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it. The food, you'll have some music playing. I'm assuming there at the festival.
So the way it kind of works is, so VIPs get in at 4:30. They get in an hour early before everybody. If you buy a VIP ticket, you get a complimentary cigar. You get free food while it lasts. You have special pours that we're going to do on the. They're going to be porch pours that we're going to do on the VIP building. It's got this beautiful kind of porch veranda, and then general admission gets in at 5:30, and they have access to the food trucks. We're going to have, for the first time this year, we have somebody, Whiskey Marketing School is sponsoring, and they're going to teach a Whiskey 101 for those that are really new to whiskey. It's like, how do you smell? How do you taste whiskey? What are the differences between bourbon, rye, this kind of thing? Just kind of give you a 15-minute, just here's the 101 so you can go out and forth and prosper. And then we're doing a panel that night, and it's going to be this year it's column versus pot still, the flavor difference. And I'm still pulling the panelists together, but I know Marlene Holmes is already on it, and the Hall of Fame distiller forgotten more about distilling whiskey than I'll probably ever know. So it's going to be an amazing discussion there. And then we are going to cap it off as the night kind of ends. We have dueling pianos. They're going to take the stage and rock out with requests and think Pete's Piano Bar, but out at an old West town outdoors with whiskey.
I mean, how much better can you get than that right there?
I mean, they are a blast. They are a hoot. They put on a great show.
I love it. Now, I just poured this other pour right here. This is another brand that's going to be coming to the festival right here. This is out of Ranger Creek right here.
Yeah, that 307.
Yeah, the 307. This is apple strudel, cinnamon apple strudel right here in a bottle. It is absolutely lovely.
Well, and the 307, that 300 series is great. They started it with 300, so it's the 7th year that they've done it, and it was all centered around San Antonio's 300th anniversary as a city, and they did it as a celebration, and they've just kind of kept going, and so every year it's their malt finished in some sort of barrel. This year's was apple brandy, and it was an unsmoked. It was an unsmoked malt. Some of the years are their now it's called Texas Landmark, but it's their mesquite smoked single malt finished in something, but it's always been their malt, and it's each year is so much fun. They play around with it, they're having fun with it, and I think that's something really cool that they've been able to continue on, and it went from just this celebration of San Antonio at 300 years to this annual release that still celebrates San Antonio, but gives them something fun to play with.
Yeah, it's that. This to me is something beautiful, and it takes me back to it almost tips its hat to the Hispanics there in San Antonio. It isn't smoked, but it has a little smokiness to it.
Well, like you said, that strudel, that apple cinnamony kind of note to it.
Very, very beautiful whiskey. And I think to me, this could open up a lot of doors for people. A good gateway whiskey to get into single malts if you don't want something that's overpowering. I think American single malts are just, I saw that you have Andaluza on there. They're kind of the king of malted whiskeys in Texas, right?
This particular whiskey, their Striker finished in Madeira barrels, won World's Best Small Batch Single Malt from the World Whiskey Awards.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but they're not the only ones that have won awards from the World Whiskey Awards. I mean, Iron Root, Balcones, 1845. I mean, Texas is making waves and winning awards across the globe, and that is That's impressive when you consider the age of the industry.
Yeah, you know, I got back from New Orleans, and one of the things that was said to me in New Orleans was, "Oh, I don't like Texas whiskey," and I often have people say that to me. I mean, you've had this discussion before, right? And it's disheartening because you know, you might not find another Texan like me, but no, you know, you'll find millions of us that when you say something about Texas, it kind of you're stepping on our heart a little bit, right? But I was like, what did you taste from Texas? And they're like, oh, it was either a very smoky Balcones or it was an old Garrison Brothers. And I was like, well, how long ago was that? And they were like, oh, like 8 or 9 years ago. And I'm like, okay, well, it's time for you to go back and revisit that distillery or visit the state of Texas. And I was like, there's more whiskey out there than just from them 2 distilleries. And their whiskey has changed a lot since those first days in whiskey. You think, and I've pointed out that this out thousands of times over my shows, you think Jim Beam tasted great whenever they first started distilling that stuff? Probably not. Same thing with Jack Daniels or, you know, Four Roses, Heaven, anything from Heaven Hill. I guarantee you that first stuff that come out wasn't all that tasty. It took time to refine it, to master that craft. These Texas distilleries have started mastering that craft, and they're winning awards across the world, like you said.
100%. I mean, that goes with anything, though. If you anybody that cooks, the first time you cook a dish, rarely does it come out fantastic. I mean, you have to learn the nuances of whatever dish you're cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is just a much more complicated process with tasting the results at a much later date. You don't get instant feedback with this. And so, yeah, I mean, Dan will be the first person to tell you, you tasted their product, you know, 8 years ago versus what it tastes like today. They're night and day difference. I mean, they've gotten better. They've learned. And, you know, they started using custom barrels with thicker staves that can withstand the Texas heat and different things like that. And so, yeah, these guys have to learn, and they are. And they're learning at a very rapid pace, in my opinion, compared to how long they've been doing it.
No, I think people would be shocked and be like, how long you been making whiskey? 200, 300 years? No, just, you know, 20 years ago, Texas had its first, you know, distilleries really after Prohibition. So, you know, that's not a whole lot of time to wrangle this, but they're doing pretty damn good for themselves for just 20-something years, right? And there's more coming on board and learning that craft. You know, you said your seminar is going to be pot still versus column still, and I don't think a lot of people even understand the nuances of that in itself, where there are distillers in the state of Texas that have these giant column stills, giant Steel Austin, right? That are making these absolutely beautiful whiskeys. And then there's these others that they have pot stills, big traditional style pot stills. And then there's some that have a, I don't know, I always mess this word up, but you'll have a pot still with a column still on top of it.
Hybrid, yeah.
A hybrid, yeah. People do not understand what the difference is. You know, even at Ben up there, their steel is this
submarine, the yellow submarine
steel. Yeah. Or you go over to Tawakaro, and the man's made, and I know he's not going to be there, but he's got Hershey chocolate pots made from Vendome into steels, and just something amazing. I'm always amazed at the diversity of Texas whiskey and what they're putting out with the steels they're putting out. You were talking about Marlene Holmes, one of my good friends in whiskey. You know, the lady, like you said, has forgotten more about whiskey than both of us put together. No, she is an absolute genius when it comes to whiskey.
Yeah,
worked for old
sweetheart.
Booker Noe for a long time, and you know what a tutelage she had under him, and she's really brought Milam and Graham to the forefront of Texas whiskey and stuff with marketing and the bottle and the rick house they put up out there in Blanco, Texas, and the staff they have there. I just, you know, I can't get enough of it. It's like I said, Texaholic right there. That's what it's all about, right, Jake?
100%. Absolutely, it is. I mean, we're 100% Texan, and we're proud of it.
Now, a couple key factors in the festival is you guys have a water sponsor. Who's your water sponsor?
We do. Crazy Water. They're out of Mineral Wells, and it's all mineral water, but they come out every year, or they have been. This will be their second or third year, and water's free. Guys, we're drinking. Our rule is we ask you to drink like an adult. Guys, we're all adults. Drink like it. Act like one. Hydrate. I mean, guys, this is high proof whiskey. So water's free. Always has been. Always will be as long as I can make it that way. And luckily enough, we have a sponsor that's willing to do that and showcase their water. And the cool thing about Crazy Water is they have a system. They call it the alkalinity of the water, and it ranges from like 1 to 4, maybe it's 1 to 5. I don't remember. 1 is closest to like tap water. 4 is super minerally. But he talks about it, and he'll kind of give you the spill, and you can taste them all. But like 4 is if you are dehydrated or you need to get hydrated quickly, 4 is where you want to go. Like you'd stay in that range. And so I first got introduced to them at an event at Balcones, and we were in their parking lot, and it was hot. It was July, and we're on that pavement. Walked up, I was like, man, I am dying of thirst. I'm sweating. I'm getting dehydrated. He goes, you need 4. I was like, okay. I mean, I probably drank a dozen of those things that day, and I will tell you, it kept me hydrated. But no, so Crazy Water is really cool and from that sense. But yeah, water's free. We highly encourage everybody to drink as much water as you can. Stay hydrated. While it is an outdoor event, the buildings that align the main street are air conditioned. So there's plenty of places to go and sit, get out of the heat if you want. So stay cool, stay hydrated. But absolutely, we offer a designated driver ticket for those that want to be there. Maybe their spouse doesn't drink, or their spouse wants to go but doesn't like whiskey. Whatever the reason being, we offer a designated driver ticket, so that person can get in with their partner and walk everywhere their partner goes and all of that stuff. So get home safe. There's ride shares available, but we ask you to be an adult, so stay hydrated, eat food, get a DD, or ride share.
Well, I think that's great. You need to be safe, and if you have a DD or get a ride share or Uber, anything to get home safely. But the other thing is to understand that you don't have to drink everything that's in your glass. If you don't like something, all the distilleries are going to have a pour bucket there. Don't be ashamed to pour that whiskey in there, and then drink at your own pace. If you're hanging out with a guy my size, don't try to outdrink me. It's not going to work out for you. And I'm not bragging there. I'm just saying, go your own pace. Drink water, like Jake said. I personally like to drink a water for every pour of whiskey. If I have a glass, I'll have a water, and then I'll have a glass, and then have a water. Also, before you come that day, have yourself a giant lunch. There's going to be food there to eat, but make sure that you fuel up for this exercise of whiskey that you're about to go through. That glass is heavy, so you want to make sure you have the fuel to lift it. But seriously, that'll help your metabolism. It'll help you absorb that whiskey properly. Could you add anything to that, Jake?
100%. You are right on that. And the other thing is, you're going to have plenty of time. So as long as you're not trying to work yourself through 200 whiskeys that are going to be out there, and you are, if this is your first time being there, I recommend taking a lap around the venue. We purposely do not put out a map or anything like that, because this is about a night of discovery. We want you to discover new distilleries. So take a lap around the venue, check out the brands that are there, and then pick which ones you want to start with and kind of go from there. And if you start to discover, you like bourbons, then maybe skip some of the malts. Or if you like malts, go there and then go back and try some of the things you had. But if you're a VIP, you're going to have 4 hours. That's a long time. So space this out. Take breaks between. One that helps your palate rest so you can actually taste better when you go back to it. If you're general mission, you still have 3 hours. That's still, actually 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. God, you have a long time. Sorry. You have 3.5 hours, give or take, right? So take your time. Eat lunch, hydrate, take your time, and don't try everything. It's I can drink a lot of whiskey, and I can't try everything there that night.
And the other thing is a lot of it is high proof whiskey there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you're not just drinking an 80 proof or a 90 proof whiskey. A lot of these expressions are 100 plus. You might get something in your glass that's 140 plus.
I can guarantee you will this year.
Be very, very careful with drinking that type of whiskey. A couple sips of it. And then if you've never been to a whiskey festival before and you're only used to shooting back whiskey, don't do it like that. Go ahead and go online and watch a couple of guys like me and Jake talk about how to drink whiskey. There's plenty of people out there that are giving whiskey education and how to taste your whiskey properly. Not only that, it'll make you enjoy the whiskey that much more. You know, people always ask me, like, how do you get all these tasting notes like this right here, the apple strudel with cinnamon on it, in a glass of whiskey? All I get is burn. Well, that's because I drink my whiskey, I let it run off the sides of my palate into my cheeks, and I really, really open it up, breathe a little bit. You will enjoy this festival so much more if you take your time, like Jake said, not try to drink everything. You know, do some research. Go to your guys' the website for the Texas Whiskey Fest, and then go to the tickets if you're going to buy tickets. And at the bottom of it, you'll see all the distilleries. Research those distilleries and see which ones you really want to try. And maybe set yourself up for success here and say, okay, I'm going to hit these distilleries for this reason. Maybe they have a whiskey I want to try. Don't be afraid to do that. Now, after the break, let's talk about what else there is to drink there besides water and whiskey. I know a couple have some cocktails made up, maybe a bourbon slushy, which is that's my devil right there on my shoulder.
We'll talk about that. I'm not sure if we're going to have a bourbon slushy, but it's something I might be able to make happen before then.
Well, listeners, you stick with us. When we come back, we got one amazing giveaway for a listener. I'm going to throw a couple things in there with that giveaway. I want to make sure somebody that really listens to my show, that goes to the Texas Whiskey Fest or wanting to go, gets to enjoy this. And we're going to drink some more amazing whiskey in our glasses when we come back for the second half. We'll be right back. The Whiskey Trip is proudly sponsored by Guardian Coins, a veteran, family-owned and operated company that understand what it truly means to honor service, story, and tradition. Guardian Coins just doesn't make the challenge coins. They craft symbols of pride, legacy, and camaraderie. From military units and first responders to distilleries, brands, and special events, every coin is designed with purpose and built to last. Here at the Whiskey Trip, our official Whiskey Trip Challenge coin was brought to life by Guardian Coins, and it represents exactly what this ride is all about. Craftsmanship, community, and sharing a great pour with amazing people. From custom artwork to flawless finishes, Guardian Coins works with you one-on-one to turn your vision into something tangible, something you can hold, collect, and pass down. So if you're looking to create a coin that tells your story, whether it's from your unit, your brand, or your next big milestone, trust the folks who know how much that story matters. Visit Guardian Coins on Facebook and tell them Big Chief from the Whiskey Trip sent you. Now pour something good and let's get back to the ride. All right, listeners, we're back for the second half with a TX Whiskey Fest, the Texas Whiskey Fest with Jake Clements, the man, the myth, the legend. And Jake, for the second half to start out with, I got this Samuel Maverick right here, this 4-grain. Now, my bottle is not as special as your bottle. You had to point that out to me. Mine's only 106 proof, and I was looking on here for the warehouse. This is a L, so this would have been aged down inside the below the distillery in their
The
safes.
vaults, the old vault.
The vaults, yeah.
So this one is Mark Schilling, their CEO, thieved this out of the barrel for me. It's 138 proof. It's from their Fowler warehouse. It's the first kind of 53-gallon barrel release. It's 5 years old. And I will tell you, if this is what they're now putting out, we're all in for a really nice treat.
I mean, I can't say enough about Maverick and Brandon and their team there, and Mark. Mark's hair is just amazing. I'm so jealous of it. And then his smooth complexion he has. I was like, "Are you sure you're Texan?" Because you don't look as rugged as I do. I mean, I'm as rugged as they come,
Well,
scarred all up and sunburned.
I forget what part of Texas you grew up in, but I grew up in the Panhandle, and I got a lot of sunburns and a lot of little sun. I mean, there's nothing to block the sun there in the Panhandle, so I'm with you there. I'm gonna actually have to figure out where he grew up at. I know he's an Aggie.
Whiskey. If he's well, yes, I know. Good Lord, he's an Aggie. I don't know if he's putting whiskey in to grow that hair or what, but it's his hair. He's got a full head of hair. I'm jealous.
I'm actually okay with my hair. I'm not really jealous of his.
Well, I am. I'm glad I have my hair. Because my head's so big that I barely fit a regular size cap on it. They don't make big man caps, so I got to get a haircut just to make the hat fit properly.
So you can't fit a regular cap, but you do have a Jimmy Pierce custom design hat, don't you?
I do have a Jimmy Pierce custom design hat, and it is a 7 3/4 is the size I wear. But I won't be wearing that at the festival, folks. I've worn it to a couple festivals this year, but I'm just real careful about it. We had a lady in New Orleans in an elevator, and she reached up to touch my hat, and I said, "Ma'am, don't touch my hat." And her husband was like, "Can I touch your hat?" And I was like, "Do you ask men that all the time if you can touch them?" I was like, "Don't touch my hat." You see these size 14 boots right here?
Yeah.
You're going to get one of them real fast.
Unfortunately, Jimmy won't be there this year, but man, if anybody's looking for a custom hat, Jimmy Pierce Designs, he makes a great felt hat. But the good thing about it is Jimmy. So if anything, I've had a lot of conversations with him over the years because I wear mine all the time every year. And I'm like, what if this happens? What if this happens? He goes, just bring it by the shop. I'll fix it. I'm like, okay, got it. Cool.
There's a whole group of guys. They were kind of disappointed that they all wanted to go out there and get hats, and they thought, well, we can just go out there and get a hat that day. And I was like, well, that's not quite how it works. This hat thing is, yes, you can go into a Boot Barn or Cavender's or some, Western wear store and Tractor Supply and buy yourself a hat off the shelf. But that's not how Jimmy works. Jimmy actually takes months to make a hat for you.
He can. It's completely custom, measures your head the whole 9 yards. But he's not going to be there, so we will move off Jimmy. Great guy, but we will move off Jimmy. But there are going to be other really good vendors there. So before we went on the break, Mike was asking me, outside of whiskey, kind of some of the sponsors. And we get a lot of requests for people that want to be out there as vendors. And we're very careful about who we select and who we do. They need to be whiskey adjacent somehow. So Jimmy's out there a lot because of the hats. He just can't be there this year. But this year we have a vendor called Knives and Wives. I guess she's making homemade knives out of her shop, and they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. And for me, that really ties in because a lot of whiskey drinkers are cooks. I love cooking. And so having that kind of tie-in is there. So she's there. There's Arrowhead Woodworkers, and they're making things out of, whiskey barrels and other wood things that are, you want a little flight holder, they're making those kind of things. And so, there's just a variety of standard cooperage is going to be out there. Now, he's not going to have a table, but he'll be running around, and it's the first cooperage in Texas, which, guys, is super important. We now have a cooperage in Texas, and he is going to have some barrels that are actually Texas oak, but he's pulling in oak from Missouri, Carolinas. If oak is being grown there, he's pulling it in, and distillers are going to be able to custom make their barrels. He's got really thick staves. It's an impressive operation, but I'm super excited to see the standard cooperage and what that means for Texas whiskey. Whiskey marketing school, guys, if y'all want to really learn about whiskey and be a whiskey somm like I am, the whiskey marketing school is where it's at. They're going to have a table. You can go talk to them. Obviously, Mike, the whiskey trips out there. For those that like to make cocktails, there's a brand called Toasted Simple Syrups. And I mean, they've got everything from a basil strawberry simple syrup to a Demerara sugar simple. I mean, espresso sugar simple syrups. I mean, they got more flavors than I can remember what they are, but they make fantastic cocktails. They're going to be out there selling their simple syrups. Um, and for cigar lovers, the cigar manufacturer that's going to be out there is Ohana Cigars, and that's who you're going to get if you're a VIP ticket holder. That's where you get your complimentary cigar from. Anybody can go up and buy a cigar, and some of the ones that are going to be available are from my collaboration with Ohana, and they're called Tejas y Ohana. They're all Texas barrel aged cigars, and we have 3 out currently. We have the first one we ever released is called Drunk Uncle, and it is a Maduro wrapped Nicaraguan filler binder aged in Balcones rye barrels. Then we released Crazy Ant, which is a Habano wrapper and Nicaraguan, all that stuff in a bourbon barrel. And then we have Daddy's Little Princess. All barrel aged, super fun. But those are some of the vendors. And yes, some of the distilleries will have pre-batch cocktails ready to go for you if you are not 100% into whiskey. We do have one winery out there, Farmhouse Wines out of Johnson City. The actual winery's up in the Panhandle by Lubbock area, but they're making some amazing wines. I have a great relationship with them, and so we have them out there. This we are their second year, and so if you want a little break from the whiskey, there's going to be wine, and some of the distilleries that also make beer might or might not have some beer in a cooler behind their table that, if you ask nicely, will gladly hand you one. Outside of that, though, really the only alcohol you can get is from the distilleries and themselves. The way Texas laws work, I can't have a cash bar and operate and do what all of those things. So it's not like we can set up a cash bar and sell beer. Just Texas laws don't allow it. There's obviously plenty of water. The food trucks will have sodas and stuff for sale. VIP area will have ice water and tea, that kind of thing. So plenty of things going on.
I love it. I love it. Now, this year, you guys always donate to one charity.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, you've picked one near and dear to my heart, Frontline Heroes Outdoors. My good friend Preston Wall over there is going to be there. Tell us about that partnership and how that partnership came about.
So Preston and I met, I want to say 3 years ago. They reached out. They just wanted a table at the festival. So we got them a table set up, and they did their own thing. That was a couple of years. Yeah, they did that for a couple of years. And after the first year, I was like, hey, man, what if I made you the charity sponsor for the following year? And he was like, man, I'd love that. And then the following year came, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, who have been helping since year one, like they do far more than they ever should. He came to me with a personal request for a charity last year, and I wasn't about to tell the man no for everything he's done for me, my family. So I was like, Preston, sorry, I can't do it this year, but next year I promise. And so that's kind of where they're at this year. And the charity itself is I get each of the distillers, all that are willing to donate bottles. And then I donate some swag, or whoever wants to donate can donate and put into this thing. And then we divide it up into lots, and they sell raffle tickets. Now, I have nothing. The festival actually has nothing to do with it. And I'm saying that for a legal disclaimer. We are not actually involved in this. This is all ran by Frontline Heroes. I just help them collect the bottles and stuff. So you'll be able to buy raffle tickets, and then 3 people will be able to walk home with a collection of Texas whiskeys and swag. And and all the money goes straight to the charity. It's a fantastic organization and way to raise money, and I think it's a win-win for both. The winners get whiskey, they get cash to help support their cause and help veterans. So the more money we can raise for them, the better.
Well, if you're not going to be able to be at the Texas Whiskey Fest, folks, and you want to donate to Frontline Heroes Outdoors, my niece is going to pop up a QR code right here beside my big old fat head, so you can donate. But hit that QR code, go to Frontline Heroes Outdoors, donate to them. If you want to donate a large amount of money, reach out to me, and I'll get you in contact with them. We have had somebody that reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd really love to give more to Frontline Heroes Outdoors," and contacted them, got them connected with Preston, and what a great thing to help out a cause like Frontline Heroes Outdoors. They take veterans hunting and first responders hunting. They take them into the outdoors hiking. They take them on therapy events. They take them to sporting events, all kinds of great things for these heroes that have these stressors in their lives, and they need to take and ease their mind a little bit. That's something I know personally. I suffer from anxiety a little bit, and sometimes you need those excursions out in camaraderie with other veterans to ease that tension. So give to this great cause. Come out and support this great cause of the Texas Whiskey Fest. Jake, I can't thank you enough for helping out my fellow brothers and sisters in this cause to help other veterans out. It's so noble in the time of the world we're in right now. We got a lot of distillers in Texas that are veterans. I know one of them, the distillers, is at Ranger Creek, is Tim. He's a veteran, a combat veteran, and that's very important to me. I'm going to have 2 veterans with me. My buddy Jared is going to be with me. He's a retired major from the Army. And then everybody knows old Little Feather, Mitch, my little brother, my baby brother. He hates being called that, but he's a retired Marine. And, I just can't think of a better cause than supporting veterans. Jake, this has been
they're great. When we started off with Impact a Hero, I think this is our 3rd veteran organization that we have that's been a sponsor. I mean, we've had several throughout the years, and they change every year because we want to spread the love. I mean, just like we want to share Texas whiskey, we want to share it's not just about the money though as well. I mean, we want them to raise money, but the more we have at the festival, the more we kind of change that out, the more people get to learn about that these charities exist. And so the more people that know about them, the more that they can, build their donor base out. And I think that's important outside of just raising money for them.
Well, the other thing is you're getting more veterans to know about that organization. A lot of veterans don't know about organizations out there. The other thing Frontline Heroes does for veterans is when a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Space Force, Coastie gets out of the service, they don't know all the resources available to them. And places like Frontline Heroes Outdoors has people that will walk you through that'll help you out and point you in the right direction. I wish when I first got out of the Army, I wish there was somebody to point me in the right direction. It wasn't a whole lot of help out there for people, if you had issues or anything. And I'm glad we got people like Preston that put their heart and soul into something like that. And it's just amazing. Well, what a great conversation we've had about the Whiskey Festival. I think we've almost covered everything. Now, what's the attire from this? Can you just come in your swim trunks, or what's the attire?
I prefer you not to come in your swim trunks. We want this to be a nice event. At the same time, we want you pay attention to the weather, dress comfortably. You're going to be outside so if it's going to be 90 degrees, I'd probably recommend some shorts and, a lightweight shirt. If it's going to be cold, well, maybe bring a jacket, something that you can take on and off as you go in and out of the buildings. But you will find most people wearing, from a guy's perspective, boots, jeans, either a polo shirt, button-down shirt. Women, you find a lot of dresses, boots, jeans as well. So we try to keep it classy, but at the same time, dress for the weather. It's Texas, guys. Be a Texan. Dress like a Texan. If you know, you know.
Well, I always, if you're dressing like a Texan, or if you don't know how to dress like a Texan, and you see a Texan, and you're gonna know, you'll
know if they're really from Texas.
Do not, as we said before, do not go up and touch their cowboy hat. That is a big no-no.
Never touch a
Don't
man's
step
hat.
on my boots, or definitely if you're standing next to me in a bathroom, don't piss on my boots. It's some big no-nos in our world.
Never touch a man's hat.
Now, I poured me one last pour before we
Yeah.
finish up here. I'm doing it right tonight. I knew I was drinking with Jake, and I was like, man, I'm going to drink
I'm
right.
drinking out of a decanter.
So this is Garrison Brothers' new coveted bottled and bond whiskey.
Such a fantastic release.
It really is. It's 100 proofer, as all bottled and bonds are. Beautiful whiskey, beautiful bottle. The eagle on there, I love it. This has only been released in the state of Texas. Very few people have a bottle of it, but you can't go. This is all Texas right
I
here.
drank mine probably way too quick.
This is I've had poured a bottle of this at New Orleans for people, and I'm kind of trying to savor this bottle right here. It even matches my damn hat. I mean,
yeah.
how much better, how much more Texas could I get?
No,
today?
I mean, really, the red, white, and blue and the Texaholic, man, you're nailing it.
Yeah.
I've got Still Austin in my glass. Just the musician, not the cast strength. But I think it's just a really good example of what a column still bourbon can do in Texas.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of momentum behind them and stuff, and I'm glad to see that. Garrison Brothers for a while there had all the momentum, and they still do. They are the lines that they have out there are just
Oh yeah,
amazing.
for those special releases like the Cowboy and Ladybird, which is coming up, and yeah, man, those lines will stretch for miles.
Yeah, I really do love it. Yeah, this has been a great conversation about a great event out at Star Hill Ranch. It's in Bee Cave, Texas. If you haven't bought tickets, where can people go to buy tickets, Jake?
They can go to the website, which is just txwhiskeyfest.com, or you can just Google Texas Whiskey Festival and it'll come up. Something I've kind of realized about this event going into our 9th year, this is our distillers' family reunion. And I didn't coin that. One of the distillers said that about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's always just kind of hung with me. And so if you're interested in Texas or you like Texas whiskey, but you've never been, and you want to be able to interact with distilleries whenever they're having a good time, this is going to be it. I mean, this is the one time a year where they are all around their friends. Everybody's joking, laughing, having a good time. And it's one of the only places where you can try majority of Texas whiskeys without having to traverse this large ass state.
I said something about that at a seminar I just gave. It's about 3,000 miles between all the distilleries that are just on the Texas Whiskey Trail. Okay. Imagine traveling 3,000 miles. You're not doing it in one day.
No, I mean, you're talking about a week. Like, I think whenever we had the first person to complete it, they were seeing how quick they could do it. It took them 4 days, and that was like booking it. I mean, and paying attention. Hey, look, I went to this many this day. I can't go to this many this day because I can't drive after that type of thing. And so it was like 4 days for them to do it. Whereas you can come to the festival and try all the whiskey without the miles.
It's absolutely amazing, the size of the state of Texas, and then how many distilleries are on the Texas Whiskey Trail. Hey Jake, it's that time in the show where we do a giveaway for one lucky listener, and the Texas Whiskey Fest has agreed to do something pretty damn special. What are you guys gonna do?
Man, I am excited. So we are gonna give away to a fan 2 GA tickets. And so that allows, you get 5:30 entry, you get all the whiskey, the panels, the live music. It is the part.
All right, man. So to sweeten that pot a little bit, I always love to give back more than I take. And one lucky listener is going to get one of my challenge coins. I'll bring that with me. They're going to get one of my Whiskey Trip rocks glasses, that giant Whiskey Trip glass, the Whiskey Trip hat, and a Bourbon Bullshitter t-shirt. And just to make sure that you don't leave home or leave back home empty-handed. We're gonna throw in a bottle of this unbent from Bent Distillery. Natasha gave me this bottle of Bottled and Bond right here, and I want to make sure one lucky fan leaves the Texas Whiskey Fest saying, you know what? Not only was Jake an amazing guy, but Big Chief was an amazing guy, and made sure that I left fulfilled my dream of hitting all these Texas whiskey distilleries, and I got Texas whiskey in my hand. And this is an amazing bottle of their straight bourbon whiskey. It's Bottled and Bond. Out of that submarine still we were talking about. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed, Jake, right?
I don't think so, guys. That is a sweet deal. I mean, the swag alone is probably worth the giveaway. The tickets are just an added bonus, apparently. But the trick is with this, you actually have to use the tickets and go see Big Chief, because the only way you're going to get that swag is from him handing it to you at the festival. So, if you want to come to the festival, you want to meet Big Chief and get your swag, well, then this is the contest for you. If not, well, we'll see you down the road.
Well, so how people are going to put in for this? You're going to put in for it all across 3 platforms: TikTok, Instagram, and on Facebook. You're going to go ahead and put an emoji of a cowboy hat, because we were talking about old Jimmy Pierce, so we got to have a cowboy hat for Texas Whiskey Fest. Tag 4 friends that you want to know about Texas Whiskey Fest. Tag 100 people if you want to, but tag 4 friends. Follow the Texas Whiskey Fest, TX Whiskey Fest, and then follow the Whiskey Trip. Do that for me, folks. Like the post, all the posts I put out all week long, and share the post. Share every post that you can. There's no just one entry. You keep doing it. And I don't use a randomizer. I personally pick the person that I feel supports the TX Whiskey Fest and that supports Texas whiskey and that supports my show. That's what I want. I want somebody that deserves it, that has earned it and sticks with this ride and has been on here and says, you know what, Big Chief's putting out big shows. He's getting great guests like Jake on and giving us great content and giving us great information. I pour a lot of love into Texas whiskey, and so does Jake. There's other great guys out there. I could just keep going on and on about guys that are supporting Texas whiskeys. And I know these distilleries, they need our help right now. They need your love. So hopefully you win this giveaway. And I got a special place that I'm going to announce this from. So I'll be in a great fucking mood to announce this.
Yeah, you will.
But I think it'll be a great giveaway. I can't wait to see you out there. I don't have a booth or anything out there, but I am not a hard man to find. I guarantee you that. I'm a giant man with a cowboy hat. I probably have I'll probably have a few people with me or around me. Check those people. Ask them. Hell, go up and meet Jake. Meet this guy right here. You will not be disappointed. Go listen to the seminar. I think you'll absolutely love it. I think you'll love all the drinks that are out there, all the pours of whiskey. Make sure you hydrate. Make sure you eat. Jake, where can everybody find you on social media at?
TX Whiskey Fest. That is the handle across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're not on TikTok. YouTube, it should be the handle. I think we're still on X. I don't know. I haven't used that platform in a long time. So let's just go with Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And LinkedIn if you want.
So, folks, also, while you're at the Texas Whiskey Fest, you're listening to this, you've already bought your tickets. While you're at the Texas Whiskey Fest, take some photos and tag the Texas Whiskey Fest. It is important.
Please do.
To show Jake love while you're there. Tell everybody what a great time you had. Tell them what a great time you're having. Take and do a review for the Texas Whiskey Fest on Facebook. That's important. So other people know what kind of a festival that you're going to and stuff. I'm telling you, this is not your average festival that you're inside of a ballroom or you're inside a convention center on a concrete floor where there's just booths set up. We are in an old West town, and Jake's got his posse of distillers out there, and they're pouring great Texas whiskey. You will not be disappointed. Come out there and see old Big Chief. I'll be wearing my cowboy hat. Maybe I can get old Miss Viv to wear a cowboy hat too. I don't know. Little Feather, I don't know if he's traveling from Georgia. I don't know if he's going to have one on or not.
I'm always in my custom Jimmy Pierce Silver Belly Open Road. It's literally my festival hat. And I know we're gonna cut this off, but Big Chief, I mean, you brought something up. This isn't a ballroom. This isn't a convention center. One of the mantras I've always lived by when creating these events is you need the right mix of the venue, the ambiance, and the people in order to create a good event. And I truly believe that Star Hill Ranch, this old West vibe, and the ambiance that the festoon lights overhanging in the Texas Hill Country sunset, and then this community that we have cultivated over the last 9 years truly do make for a great event. And the community is so welcoming. If you show up and you look lost, I promise you somebody in the audience that's been there before will grab your hand and go, "Hey, can I help you? Where can I? Oh, you want to try this? Let me take you over here." That is this crowd. So it is welcome to newcomers and experts alike. So
Yeah, I think it is super amazing. Well, listeners, don't forget about the giveaway. Jake, man, thank you for once again taking a ride with me and being a guest on here. I much more enjoyed the episode we did in your house, and I get to drink your whiskey.
that was much more fun. I like the in-person contact too. And I like sharing my whiskey, so that works out well.
I mean, I love it. I love drinking whiskey with anybody. I just have a good time and enjoy life. But any last words to listeners, to viewers out there?
Man, you know what? Keep following Big Chief and going on the rides. He's doing a fantastic job. I enjoy listening to the episodes, not just about the Texas guys, but it gives me an insight into what the other people are doing. So keep supporting Big Chief and buy local, whatever that means for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, listeners, you know where you can find old Big Chief at the Whiskey Trip on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook, and now on YouTube. Like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That's very, very important. Once again, if you're going to Texas Whiskey Fest, if you can't, there's that QR code for Frontline Heroes Outdoors right here. My niece is going to pop up there. Donate to the Frontline Heroes Outdoors. They could use your help. Or if you're a veteran in the state of Texas or right outside the state of Texas, look up Frontline Heroes Outdoors and see what they have to offer. If you're a distiller out there and you want to work with them and you need Preston's number, I'll be glad to share it with you. They could use all the help they can get. So if you're listening to me, go over to the Bourbon Life on Spotify or Apple Podcast. That's what you're listening to. But if you're watching this on YouTube, go over there to Spotify and Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio Music or any of those podcast places you can listen to a podcast on. Leave us that 5-star review. Listen to Matt and Mark and the crew over there at the Bourbon Life. If you like what they're doing, like what I'm doing, leave us that 5-star review, some comments. Those comments, those reviews, they open up doors to distilleries. They get great guests on my show, like the Texas Whiskey Fest, like Jake here. I get great whiskey in my hands to tell you about. If you have a distiller in your back door, in your backyard, go ahead and let me know that you want me to work with them and stuff. I can't tell you, there's so many distillers out there that I just don't really know about. I try to keep my finger on the pulse, but if there's a great whiskey out there and you think, hey, they need to take a ride with Big Chief, let me know. Send me an email at mike@thewhiskeytrip.com. I'll be glad to reach out to them. If I can get them on the show, I'll do it. If you write those comments on Apple Podcasts, leave them over on Facebook. You can leave me a review on there. Those keep me motivated. They keep me rolling out there, trying to do giveaways, trying to get great content to you. Like Jake said, I'm trying my hardest. I'm just an old veteran. I got a regular day job. I do this after hours, and I really do. I love putting out great content. I want to be the voice of whiskey. That's my goal. When I die, I want people to say, man, he loved to talk about whiskey. So that's it, listeners. I got a great show next week for you. Make sure you tune in. Don't forget about that YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. This is old Big Chief, and thanks for taking this ride with me, baby.